You know, Larry, I get a kick out of kind of being behind the scenes like we are right now. I call it being in a green room and having this private, intimate conversation. And so my question to you is, before I go read this long bio here and all that good stuff, give me the real narrative. Give me the who is Larry Beecham. What journey have you been on? And what are you up to now, my man?
Listen, bro, first of all, man, thank you so much for this opportunity. For those of you checking out this amazing show, man, this is an amazing opportunity to connect with some amazing speakers, trainers, guests. This is just I'm overjoyed and excited to be here. Shay, man, thank you
Thank
for
you.
activating whatever was in your gut, your soul, your vision to do this, man. It's amazing. Man, I wish it was more of this out here, bro. We need it, man. Thank you so very much
Thank
for
you.
crushing out this type of show, man. I'm excited, man. Looking forward to being back sometime soon.
For sure, man. I like that for sure.
Anyway, man, look, man, I've been out here for, I don't know, 10, 12 years.
Hmm.
Um, the journey's been crazy. So just to give you a little bit about me, I'm known as Larry the Champion Builder professionally. I've been out here, I started off as a digital marketer about 11, 12 years ago. Prior to that, I drove a cable truck. When I do public speaking, I joke and talk about Larry the Cable Guy, the comedian. I'm the real Larry the Cable Guy. So anyway, about 10, 12 years ago, I decided to transition careers due to just some turmoil in my money. You know what I mean? Just trying to figure it out. Got on the computer, plugged my email into a website. Watched the video, and then I got a phone call from a guy, and that's how it all began. He just started telling me that it was possible for me to make a full-time living using my computer. And he called me at a time when I was just flat broke and struggling and just sort of desperate. And fortunately, it was legit. And he took me by the hand and started guiding me on the journey. And that's how I got started. So it is how I have supported my wife and our 6 kids, man, for the last decade plus.
Hey man, congratulations to you, man. That's an honor and a privilege of what you're doing. Sometimes the question comes up, Larry, why? What's your big why? And that's a cool question, but let's put that to the side. Let's say you do why you do it because it's a calling. What's really your passion? Why are you walking in this purpose right now? I know this question is asked differently, but I'm just curious, man. What's your purpose right now? What's your mission in life?
So let me start by saying this. I say this a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of my thing, is that the path of your purpose has already been paved with provision,
Mm-hmm.
protection, prosperity, and peace. Okay? And so I say that because most people are not walking in their purpose. They don't quite know what it is, or they're not even attempting to discover it. So I was sitting on the edge of my bed one day thinking about that and professionally. And it was at a time when I was struggling to really have joy in what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Just making money, and then there's really enjoying what you're doing to make money. And it just hit me that, I'm the guy that helps a person or gives them an opportunity to transform into the best version of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to pursue that. I started to pursue how can I really partner with somebody's life, whether I make money or not make money. I had to start to come from that place. Can I actually make Shea Brown better if I work with Shea Brown? Like, what's it
Mm-hmm.
going to really take to make Shea Brown better? Get the Shea 2.0, 3.0, 5.0. What's
Yeah.
it going to take to get there? And so when I started to focus on that, then the fulfillment came back. I had a really interesting conversation with Della Torre McNeil, who you know, obviously.
Yes, love
And
him.
I remember Della and I were sitting in a mall, and he could see on my spirit that I just wasn't myself. And Della and I have a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me this question. He said, Larry, he said, I'm going to ask you a question, but I'm going to paint a picture first because I need you to answer the question after I paint this picture.
Mm-hmm.
He said, success is a mountain that you can climb. And he said, there's two sides of the mountain that you can climb. One side of the mountain you can climb with success is based upon accolades, money, status, that kind of stuff, celebrity. And you can climb that side of the mountain. And he said, knowing you, Larry, you can get to the top. The problem you're going to have is you're not going to like the view, and you're not going to like the people that go with you. He said, or you can climb that same mountain of success on the other side, and that's based upon authenticity, goodwill,
check one, check one. Okay, now they should be able to hear us. Check one, check one. All right, check one, check two, check three, check four, check five. All right, Larry, say something now.
All right, microphone check. Can you guys hear me? Larry Beecham, Larry the Champion Builder.
Okay, so T Tucker, do me a favor. Let me know if you can hear me now. Y'all, let me know if you can hear me now. If you can hear Shay Brown now, hit number one. If you can hit Shay Brown now, hit number one. If you can hear me, hit number one. If you can hear me, what's up? Ladidra White is in the house. I see you out there. Lee Spicer, I see you out there. Aaron, my man, Sean Harper, he's in the house. You bring out the all-stars, man. Let me know you can hear me. I've got mine up right now, so make sure they can hear me. And I'm seeing it bouncing on my side, but I'm not hearing anything. Hold on. I see you out there. Aaron, my man, Sean. Okay, so I can hear myself. All right, so can you say something now? Larry, so talk for about 2 minutes. Say, hey everybody, how you doing? Mic check, mic check.
What's up, y'all? Larry the Champion Builder here. Mic check. Welcome to tonight's live.
Okay, so I can hear myself. All right, so can you say something now?
Tonight, I hope you guys are excited and ready to have your lives transformed, have some seeds planted, some aha moments, challenge your thinking, challenge your way of being. Tonight's gonna be awesome.
Oh, hold on, Larry. Okay, so they're having a hard time hearing your microphone. So give me 1 second to check everything on your side,
All right.
because I can hear you. So they got my mic. I can hear you. So let me see why we can't hear you on your side. Oh, hold on, Larry. Okay, so they're having a hard time hearing your microphone. So give me 1 second to check everything on your side, because I can hear you. Okay, hold on. I'm listening to myself on the computer. Hold up. This is weird. All right, everyone, give me 1 second. What's up, Saucony Prince? Give me 1 second. We're going to just get this thing. We thought we had it going just right a second ago. All right, let me do this. All right, so that's working. All right, so Larry, give me 1 second because I can hear you. I'm trying to see why they can't hear you. Just give me a second. Okay, recording, output, video. Okay, Larry, I see Larry here. Mic source, camera source. Video. All right, say something one more time now, Larry.
Mic check, 10-9-8-7-6-5-4-3-2-1. Can you hear me? How am I coming through?
Okay, let me try this.
That's interesting. You can hear me, but they can't.
Right. That's why we're trying to figure it out. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Wirecast. Let me check. Okay, they can't hear anything now. Okay, hold on. Okay. Say something now.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me?
That's not it. Hold on. We're gonna make it work. All right, say something now.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Am I coming through?
Okay. I'm getting a buzzing. Hold on. Virtual cam on. We're gonna make it work. Audio. All right, say something now. Okay, so I still understand why it's not coming through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just give us 1 second.
Hey, Shay, you want to and come another way?
Yeah. This has never happened. You said do what? I just never had it not go through where they couldn't hear you.
All right, let's try this. Y'all sound out.
Yeah. All right, say something. This has never happened.
Microphone check. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Just give me 1 more second. Okay, Skype, I can hear you. You can see yourself too, right? So you can see yourself. I can hear
I
you.
can see myself, but I don't see you right now.
You said you don't see me right now.
No, I just see a picture.
So you see me now.
I only see a picture. I don't see a video.
Oh yeah, because I'm working on the background. That's why you can't see me. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I no longer have a Yeti mic. I now am using just my headset.
All right. So now you should be able to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you can hear Larry now, hit number 1. If you can hear Larry, hit number 1. Saccone hit number 1 saying he can hear you.
Okay.
So if Saccone, if you can hear him, hit number 1. I just want to make sure you're coming through clear. Hold up.
Yeah.
So if you can hear Larry now, hit number 1. If you can hear Larry, hit number 1. Okay. Saccone hit number 1 saying he can hear you. All right. So Larry, say something now. So if Saccone, if you can hear him, hit number 1. I just want to make sure you're coming through clear. Hold up. So if you can hear Larry now, hit number 1. Okay. Hit number 1 saying he can hear you. All right. So Larry, say something now. So if Saccone, if you can hear him, hit number 1. Okay. So I believe they can hear Saccone. No, Saccone said now I can't hear him. Okay, hold up. Saccone said he could hear you a second ago. So what happened when you switched? He said he could hear you. All right, Saccone, give us one more second. We're that close to getting them on. Hold up. Okay. So I believe. Hold up. Let me cut myself down because we're like a minute delay. So I'm kind of trying to monitor at the same time. Let me try one more thing here. All right. So here's what we're gonna do, Larry. I'm gonna hang up and then give you a call right back. And let's just in case. You know what I mean? Stranger things happen. Okay, hold on. Okay, now we're gonna bring him right back in. So let me see if he connects.
Mic check.
Now say something now.
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, check. Okay. Let me try something. I'm gonna close my Skype. I'm gonna close it and then call you right back, okay? I'm gonna quit it and do it, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are really live. You're really behind the scenes now. You're getting an opportunity to see what happens real time when you have a guest and you're trying to get the guest on. So I understand y'all can hear me, but you cannot hear him. So if you give me 1 second. I'm rebooting and bringing it back up, and we're going to try it again because that's what we do, baby. We try one more time here. Check. So you can hear me. That's good. And then let me call him. Make sure I have his mic on. Okay, so let's see here. Let me try this way here, see if that works. Okay.
What's up, Shay?
Okay, I see you again, bro. I see you again. You're looking good.
Okay, we got that. Check that off.
You're not on mute.
Nope.
Okay, you're not there. Okay, I'm going here. 1 second. Okay, so Larry, say something now to see if they can hear you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, microphone check. Can you hear me loud and clear? Hopefully this is the one. You can hear me. Tell me if you can hear me. Let me know.
Okay. Okay. Now say something one more time.
Microphone check. 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Can y'all hear me out there? Let's get this party started.
Okay. Kevin Peck says he's still low, but we can hear him. So turn your volume up on your side. Maybe that's it. Thanks a lot, Kevin. T.I. Tucker says she can hear you, but you're still kind of low. So
Yeah, I got it at maximum.
You do?
Yep, let me
Okay.
the settings here.
All right,
On my side.
just check it. Check. Okay. Okay.
It says I got it all the way up, my brother.
Check. You got it all the way up on your side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. We're gonna work it out. Okay. Why did they say you're low? Okay. There's no automatic adjust. Okay. Now. Yeah. I can hear you on my side. I'm just. No, I had mine all the way turned up, so I can hear you. Hold on. I just want to check one more thing, because I've never had this happen. Hold on.
Right.
They're like, you're gonna figure it out. Don't worry. Rule number one. Rule number one, everybody, don't panic. That's rule number one. Okay, hold up. Video ends. Output.
Hey Shay, you reset a couple times. You want to reset on my side one time?
Yeah. Why don't you just reset your computer this one time? 'Cause when I reset mine, it came through fine that one. When we started earlier, I had that problem and I had to reboot. Remember? So why don't you reboot yours just to see?
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things Larry's going to do is Larry's going to go ahead and reboot. And so he's going to take his computer, shut it down, and boot it back up. Now, he will be talking about how to do social media and how to brand. Thank you for at least letting us know you could hear him or couldn't hear him or that he was coming in low. I'm checking a few more things on my side just to make sure. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Thanks, T.I. Tucker. Linda, no, rebooting didn't help. Sounds the same to me. Right, I rebooted, but he didn't reboot. So we're giving Larry a minute just to reboot his computer. Y'all can hear me loud and clear, which is good for me, by the way. That's really good because camera. So the camera's here, so that's right. I'm checking a couple things. So if y'all see why I'm looking over here, is because I've got another monitor going on over here, and we'll see if we can get it right. If not, we will definitely reschedule. But let's let him dial back in first. Okay, Skype. Share scene. This is interesting. Wonder why you guys can't hear him. So if you're out there right now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 1 minute and allow him to dial back in. I'm just checking everything on my side to make sure there's nothing on my side, which I don't see, which is good because you can hear me, but we couldn't hear him. Let me see what this is. Levels. Check. My level's good. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I found something called eco cancellation. So I'm hoping that's it when he dials back in. He's rebooting his computer, and I believe we have found the source. So, Kevin, there's something called, I'm saying this for Kevin Peck because I'm sure all of y'all care, by the way. But I found something called echo cancellation. And it looks like maybe his was marked a little low in that area, but I'm going to find out as soon as he signs back on because I saw there was a error message by the microphone on his side. So it took me a minute to do that. But, it's kind of like life. Isn't life the same way that sometimes you have to do troubleshooting, right? You think you got everything perfectly. This is season 5. So you think with season 5 doing 4 shows a week or 16 shows a month, close to 54 shows a season. So every 90 days is a season. You would think that we've got everything figured out. And this being the middle of our 5th season, you think we have it figured out, but we don't. So what's going on for those folks that are out there right now? Our guest, Larry Beecham, is rebooting his Mac computer, and then he's going to come back in. And we're thinking that there might have been a connection. So I could hear him just fine on my side. We tested it 2 hours early. We tested it 40 minutes early. But when we went live, all of a sudden there was some voice reduction cancellation that was taking place. And it's possible the software may have been an update. Now, I'm going to encourage you to hang in there. And for those folks that are just tuning in and listening in, if we didn't go back and edit this thing, Larry's going to be talking about something very important because he'll be talking about how to be the number one expert in your niche, how to be recognized as the number one expert in your niche. And you're going to find it to be very helpful. So let me go in here now. Hold on. All right, my man. Okay. So I'm looking here. I got sound levels coming in here. So let me see. I'm checking something called sound levels. Check one. Now, let's see if that opened it up. And I saw something on it was called noise cancellation, by the way. It was called noise cancellation. While he's dialing back in, why not talk to us about his expertise on the subject? I hope you found it because I'm sure he has valuable information. Oh, Linda's like, I want to hear it. They want to hear it, by the way. All right. So say something now, Larry. Let's just see if they can hear you. Okay, so what I would do, Larry, is I would plug when you're talking on your headset, it's really choppy on my side. So it's like a noise cancellation was on it. Okay, now say something. Yeah, I'm hearing like a pop, 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 like a pop, 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 like it's breaking up on like coming in. So yeah, scoot up a little bit. Yeah, check one. We're gonna get in the mics. See why is this? Okay, let me just see. Okay, yeah, I hear a lot of air. I heard some Did you hear it? A lot of air. Okay, yeah, I hear a lot of air. Did you hear it? Yeah, it's going. You're like popping on your side. Do you hear it? It's like you're in a tunnel. I know I've never seen that before either. So I'm just telling you what we hear. Hold on. Oh, okay, okay. So Kevin's telling me. Kevin's funny. Hold on, Kevin. Let me see if we can bring him in. All right, Larry. Yeah, it sounds static. Kevin said it sounds like you have the old Nextel microphone, which you don't. Nextel tells his age, by the way. He says, make sure your internal mic settings is set. The Yeti setting might still be on. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It does sound like you're on a walkie-talkie. Okay, say something again. Okay. Now, count to 10. This so we can just hear the sound. This is like double weird. I never had this happen. All right, let me try one more thing. That sounds better to me on my side anyway. At least what you just said. The countdown sounded better. I just don't know why. Let me try one more thing. I've never had to do this much work. Hold on. We have never. This is just interesting. But stranger things happen. You know, software changes, updates happen. A lot of things happen, folks. This is right. I know this is right. Now that's choppy there. Yeah, I mean I can't even hear you on my side at all. Okay, window. Let's see. It's a little. Say count to 10. Yeah, yeah. It's coming through like you're a robot on my side. Like it's like one, two, two, three. Hold on. Yeah. All right, so we're going to try something we never tried in a second. I'm gonna give one more thing, Larry. Then I'm gonna try one thing here. We're not share screen. I'm going to see. Okay, audio video settings. So I'm going back here again one more time. They're like, hey, we're gonna get it. We're gonna wait. Let me just see. Okay. Okay, this is right. Everything is right on my side. Just double checking again. Kevin told me to check one other thing, so I'm gonna check what he said. So the Scarlet is good. I have echo cancellation on, so we shouldn't have any problems there. This is really weird. Let me try one more thing. Show recordings, output. Let me try this. All right, say something now. Yeah, I'm still getting that buzz. It's like it's totally breaking up. Weird. It's like it's breaking up coming through from you to me. Yeah. It's like. All right, what we're doing, I'm gonna try. So what I'm gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm gonna sign off, and then we're gonna try to see if we can come back right back on. I know y'all. I know y'all want to see if we're gonna get it done. Where we're gonna give it another shot. I'm checking another thing here. Let me see what Kevin's talking about. Hold on. Hey, Kevin. All right. So I'm gonna give you Kevin Peck's number, Larry. I'm gonna give Kevin your number because you're probably gonna answer faster than he is because he's right there by his computer now. So Kevin, let me give you Larry's number. Hold up, Kevin. Okay. Hold up, Larry. I'm gonna text him your number now. He's had this problem, so he think he gets it. Hold on, Larry Beecham. Okay. So I just text you, Kevin. Kevin should be calling you in a minute.
Okay.
And then he said he knows what it is. He's a system, sound, input, internal mic. Send me his number. Number on his end. He said Papa Noise might be the Yeti. All right. I haven't. Okay. All right. So a little bit about Larry's background. Larry's been a business owner for a number of years, by the way. A number of years has exceeded 10 years. Larry's someone who's been in the field. Larry's someone knows about, not so much about what he knows, but he's experienced working with clients, coaching them. He's coached corporate clients, he's coached entrepreneurs that make money, he's coached entrepreneurs building campaigns. The guy's done a number of things throughout the years, but what I admire about him is his consistency and understanding the importance of branding. And Linda Reese, who's out there, and the other messages that I've received as well, give us a few minutes as we push through this, and then we're going to determine what it is. I'm going to see if, in fact, I want to make sure it's not something on my end, which I don't think it is. So if you're out there right now and you want me to bring you on, you're like, Shay, I want you to bring me on live. And you are watching right now and you have Skype or you have a way to connect. Give me a text me now at 202-270-1662 and we'll bring you on because Larry's working on making sure he can get set on. And then we're gonna make it work. So give me a second. I've got like a bunch of messages here where I'm trying to do it at the same time. One moment. What's up, Sharon? I see you out there. And I muted you. You're muted, by the way. If you gotta mute yourself, it's cool. Just let me know when you try to get on.
Me?
Yeah. What's up, Jacqueline Fulton? For those folks that are tuning in, we're working with Larry now. Sometimes technical things happen, and we are live. This is real time, and I'm double checking things. He's double checking things. I'm looking this way because I'm looking at my systems, and you can probably hear me because I'm making sure I can be heard on the microphone, although I can see it, so I know I can be heard because I can hear. I can see the bars bouncing. Let me check two things. Let me just make sure, and this is working. Yep, everything's pushing through. Yeah, I'm hearing static, so that's why Larry. I know it's out. That's why I feel there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll work through it. Let me see. If not, we will redo. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you let me know when you, I'll see it bouncing and we'll see when we hear you coming on. What's up, Cynthia Green? Thanks a lot, Sharon Green. Hey, what's up, Sharon? All of you who are watching, by the way, I'm gonna let Larry right now. Larry's behind the scenes and Larry's working right now on getting. We're trying to make sure sound's connecting. But here's what I like to do for all of you out there right now that are listening and watching. I want to share with you three things that are just super important, and this is something that I've been sharing with our clients, and it's going to fit into the message this evening. And it's really the 4S formula that I found that it's not only been helping us, but it's been helping our businesses as well. And go ahead and jot this one idea down in your note. Just this one idea in your notes while we're working on the back end. We're working to get everything set up so that you can see Larry, you can hear Larry as well. But there's three things I want you to write down. First, write down the 4S methods. Write down this one sentence.
I didn't know which audio was going to be the right one.
Let me close this up. I got it. Okay, he's muted now. And the one sentence that I want you to write down is this: systems beat goals every time. Just jot that down in your notes. Let me just share something while we're waiting for this to come through. But it's important. Systems beat goals every time. And I just want to share with you the methodology, the formula that I've been using, and it's called the 4S formula. Someone, if you're out there right now, go ahead and jot that down in your notes. I'm checking everything. Hold on, he's sending me a text, by the way. Let me just make sure he's got everything. It's called the 4S formula. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, I got that up. Don't worry about it. Okay, I let them know we're still live. Okay, it's called the 4S formula. And the 4S formula goes like this. And go ahead and jot this down in your notes. Thanks a lot for joining, Karen. Barbara, I got your message. Thanks for your love. We're gonna make this thing happen. Here's the formula: S plus S plus S equals S. So I'm giving y'all a super formula to help you in your business. I appreciate your time while we're working on technical difficulties. But S, hold on. I think he's calling me back. Hold on. Hold on, they're calling me back. Okay, got you back on now.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Secondary device input change to Shay's Mac. Okay, so that sounds, I can hear the buzzing, but at least it looks like it's picking something up.
It's still buzzing?
Hold on, yeah, let me see. It's slight though. Let me say something now.
Mic check, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yep. We can at least hear you coming through. I can see the bars bouncing on my side.
Wow.
Yeah. What was it?
I went all the way out, and then I went to Skype settings, and I chose the thing I'm doing here. So, it gives me the option to choose a Yeti mic. I chose it.
Right. There's no worries. So we're live now, as you know. So on your side, just on your camera, take a minute to get centered. Give yourself a second. I'm going over the 4 S's with them, and then are you using the Blue Yeti now, or are you going right into the phone?
Blue Yeti. Okay.
So Kevin, I know you just adjusted it, Kevin Peck. Thanks a lot. It's statically, but at least you can hear him. Say something again.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Okay. It's not as static as it was before. So I'll give you a minute to look up so you can see in the camera if you're centered and all that stuff. Give yourself a minute or two. I'm giving them the 4 S's, and then Larry, who worked to make this thing happen, he could have quit and said, "Hey Shay, we'll do it another time." He says, "Nope, I'm here to deliver a message." Let me give you all the 4S formula so I don't leave you all out there. Kevin Peck, shout out. Everyone that's out there right now, look right below the video and put thanks at Kevin, Kevin, Peck, Peck. Kevin Peck decided to call in. Kevin Peck decided he was going to work directly with Larry to get it up and going. Kevin Peck, we appreciate the love, man. Thanks a lot. His wife, Dana, is super amazing. The 4S formula is S plus S plus S equals S. Let me give you what that means. That means systems plus strategy plus sales equals successful CEO. Let me say that again. Systems plus strategy plus sales equals successful CEOs. So it all starts with systems, right? So systems, we know, help you get repeat success. Systems help you be consistent at all times. Systems help reduce mistakes. Systems help other people do the work for you. And the biggest challenge I see facing a number of entrepreneurs today is they don't have the right systems. They don't have a traffic systems to get the right people in front of them. They don't have the right type of CRM systems in place. So systems plus strategy plus sales equals successful CEO. So now you know what a systems is. Strategy is the how-to. So you got S plus S plus S equal S. Systems plus strategy plus sales equals successful CEO. You know what the system is. And I probably spend 90% of my time working with folks on having the right systems in place. And I want you to ask yourself, do you have the right systems in place today to get in front of qualified leads? Do you have the right systems in place to actually talk to the right people? Do you have the right systems in place to reach your target audience? Systems plus a strategy. Remember, the premise is systems beat goals every time. Systems plus a strategy. The strategy is the how to approach the business. We believe in the evergreen revenue model, which is how do you do something one time to consistently get in front of qualified folks, to consistently engage them, to consistently build rapport, and then for those who want to do business, convert them over. So you systems plus strategy plus sales. Sales provides you the revenue necessary to go purchase all of the resources that you need to execute the vision you have for yourself, the vision you have for your loved ones, and the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. So now you got the formula, 4 S's. Systems, which you probably spend 80% of your time focused on having the right systems, plus strategy, plus sales equals a successful CEO. Now, what is a successful CEO? S plus S plus S equal S. Well, Shay, what do you consider a successful CEO? A successful CEO has more cash flow, profits, and freedom to do the things they want to do with their loved ones when they want to do it. And so many folks go from being a happy entrepreneur to a successful CEO. You can be a happy entrepreneur and be broke. You can be a happy entrepreneur and love life. But when you're running a business, at the end of the day, you don't want to do the work. but you want people to recognize the brand. You want them to recognize the problems that you solve. And so I encourage you, I implore you, if you're out there and you've been watching, to take a look at that. Larry be back in just a moment. He's just getting everything set up on the back end. We can hear him. And he's going to deliver a very, very powerful message. It's going to help you in your business right now. With that being said, someone just look right below the video. Again, do a shout out to Kevin Peck. Kevin, we want to thank you for spending time behind the scenes with Larry. Saucony Prince says we can hear you both now. Billy Crutcher is out there watching. Cynthia Green says S plus S plus S equals S. That's right. The 4S formula. That's the Shayism. You can use that. That's a Shayism. But it's helped many of my clients. But this morning or this evening or tonight, whatever time it is for you, I want you to know that Larry has the right system to help you be number one recognized authority in your niche. And that's the number one reason I brought him here, not because he just watched a YouTube video, not because he just wrote some book, not because he just showed up from some event this over the weekend, but I brought him here because he has the right systems in place that's going to help you as part of one of the 4 S's. All right, so let's do a mic check to the man himself who's hung there for the last 45 minutes. He said, Shay, how long do you think we're going to be this morning or this evening tonight? I said as long as it takes, because results take as long as results take. And Larry's been with us when we had something called 72 hours of power. He hung in there with us for 72 hours, 3 straight days, and with the high highs and the low lows. So Larry, mic check. Saucony Prince says he can hear you, but mic check, my man.
Mic check. Can you hear me, bro? I hope everything good. I think we're ready to rock and roll, hopefully anyway.
All right, man. I can hear you on my side. It sounds a little fuzzy, but I can still hear you a lot better than I could hear you before. So here's what I'd like for you to do, man. What do you say to the people out there that have stood by, man? They spent this time with us saying, you know what? He has a powerful message. Before we even get started, what words do you have for those folks that are like, you know what? I'm going to hang in there. I'm going to see, one, if they can figure it out. And 2, I'm going to see if they're going to still deliver the goods. What do you got to say to those people out there, brother?
Well, I think we both believe that there's an order to things. And whenever something appears to be out of order or something seems to be inky or something appears to be, like in this case, a technical difficulty, in the material sense, it is technical for us to overcome this. But the true entrepreneurship, this is a common thing. And the time that I've been an entrepreneur, I have seen other entrepreneurs under pressure to this. They just can't deal with it. And it kind of speaks to why most of us don't really quite get to where we need to go, because we don't have that strength to persevere. This is probably the one and only this may happen, but it's happening tonight for a reason or someone. There's somebody who is not at the level they need because they have not learned or have not developed the intestinal fortitude, the anchoring mindset that no matter what happens, no matter how challenging it gets, to move forward, what I can get done. I was listening to a training by a gentleman, I forget his name, and he was explaining how he was in a live event and he had what he called the blue screen of death come up on the screen during his live presentation, which most people know when that happens to your computer, it basically crashes everything. And so he said that he was just as calm as if everything worked out like normal because he recognized it was an opportunity. It was an opportunity for him to be able to prove to people that no matter what he's facing, that it's never going to get in the way of the outcome that he came for, and that was to deliver the value. Now, sometimes you have situations where technology will prevent you or slow you down. I've had mics cut out on me at live events. I'm speaking to a few hundred people, and the mic goes out, and I have to shout for the rest of the event. I've had credit card machine go down, different things happen. But I kind of keep a level here because at a certain point, you got to come to a place where no matter what happens to you, it was an intended purpose for it to happen. As Ayala Vadzan would call it, it might be part of your spiritual curriculum. It might be part of the process that you need to develop in order for you to get to the next level, because little stuff like this will happen. I've seen whole entire organizations, buckle under pressure like this because they just don't know how to handle it. So for whatever it's worth, maybe this is the reason why it happened. Shay, I don't know, obviously. We're going to make the best of it. I'm here, you're here, they're here. I've had audios, man, that I've purchased from people, and when I got the audio was awful, but I pushed through what was awful audio to get the content. I just happened to get a bad version of it, but I listened anyway through the bad audio to get the value, and I didn't let it slow me down. So I don't know, and that's overly simplified, really, but for the last 7 years of me coaching, I run into entrepreneurs who run into similar things, and it totally railroads their process and their progress, when really it's all good.
You know, you make a good point. It's all good at the end of the day. We're going to jump right into it. They're saying they can hear you. It says it's a little scratchy, but they can hear you, but they want the message. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us a minute to take a quick 2-minute break, the sound, and then when we come back, we're going to jump right into what you need to do in order to be number one authority in your business, in your niche, in your area. And then the promise I'll make to you is that Larry and I will get back together as well for those folks that had challenges with the sound, and we will do another re-recording to make sure we get that out there so you can have super crisp HD sound. So, we're both committed to that. I'm going to go ahead right now, and I'm going to go over to the one and only Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, and she talks about you got to trust the process. And we come back, I'm going to ask you to trust the process that Larry's going to walk you through. And we come back and say, Larry, jump right into it and give them the steps necessary in order to be the number one authority in their area. So we'll talk about 1, 2, or 3 steps. We'll jump right into it. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Dr. Kenneth Thigpen, take it away. We'll be right back.
Hello, it's your girl, Dr. Kenneth Beacham, also known as Dr. K, founder of Rise Women's Network. And Rise Women's Network is pleased to present to you #Next Sister Up. I'm with you in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe, and today is my January 1st. Here's your thought of the week. Trust the process. You see, when you trust the process, you are committed to sticking to the plan. Despite the challenges, despite feeling uncomfortable, you stick to the plan because you know that there's a divine plan moving in your life. You see, typically what happens is we want to take a shortcut in life. We want to take a shortcut in our business. We want to skip a few steps. We like being up, but we don't like the feeling of being down. So keep these 3 things in mind as you're going through life and as you're going through business. 1, embrace the unknown. I get it. Unknown, the uncertainty, it doesn't feel good. It's oftentimes scary, but get ready to make space for all that is about to unfold in your life. Next, you want to be in the moment. Yes, it's one thing to have a vision and to visualize where you want to be. It's one thing to start at the end so you know where you're going, but it's important that you come back to the present, to the moment, so that you can take action and embrace and experience all that life has in store for you. And third, you want to believe in yourself. Yes, anything is possible if you just believe. And when you believe in yourself, it influences your success. And so I challenge you this week to not only trust the process, but enjoy the process. It's your girl, Dr. K. Make it a great day.
Okay, well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country. We're here with the one and only because we're on a mission, and that mission is to empower, that mission is to inspire, and that mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with the resources you need necessary to execute the vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And so tonight, this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world right now, Larry showed up for one reason only, and that's to make sure you have the resources. And so, Larry, I'm going to ask you, as you was talking in the very beginning, you was giving us a little bit of your backstory. I'm going to ask you if you can do 2 things. First, talk about the importance of being recognized as the number one authority in your niche. And number 2, why is that important?
Excellent. So let me start off with a story.
Sounds good. That sounds good now.
Okay. All right. I've been adjusting it. My man's been helping me in the background.
Kevin's amazing. You sound 100% better. I'll say you that, man.
Okay. Excellent. So I want to start off with a story, man. Back when I was a kid, there was a TV commercial that was super popular at the time, and it was called. It was a company, E.F. Hutton. Shay, do you remember E.F. Hutton when we were kids?
Yeah, I was just born, but yeah, I remember E.F. Hutton.
Get out here. Get out of here. But anyway, there is a group of people who have no idea who I'm talking about, but this is an iconic commercial. And the way E.F. Hutton ran their commercials is, if you can imagine a room full of people just buzzing and talking like a networking event. All right. And then E.F. Hutton himself walks into the room and he begins to have a conversation with one person. And all of a sudden, a complete hush comes over the room and everybody's leaning in to hear what he's saying. And their motto was, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Iconic commercial, right? And so I'm saying that to say this, and for those of us that haven't really understood the power of walking into a room and having that type of authority, that's the goal, or at least that's the goal that I have for my clients, is that I want them to not have to worry about a business card. Yeah, we all have business cards. I don't want them to have to worry so much about having to have a massive ad budget. You need an ad budget. I'm not saying you don't need an ad budget. But what I am saying is that there is a way that you can navigate business in your neck of the woods and be able to be, when people see your face, they already know what's up. Miles Monroe, in a message I listened to recently, said this. He said that a tree that bears good fruit doesn't dig itself up and then deliver the fruit to the people, right? A tree is planted somewhere and it bears fruit where it is. And if the fruit is good enough, people will come to the fruit. And so that's the goal of how I teach my executive clients, is I want you to stand out from the crowd, not just because you have a fancy logo, because anybody can go to anywhere and get a fancy logo, get a cute slogan, et cetera, and so forth. But really, the foundation to being an authority or having superhuman authority is setting a goal to be like E.F. Hutton was back in the day. Or, there are other people that we hear their name, we see their face, and we automatically know who they are. We've never been to their website, but we know who they are. When you see Oprah Winfrey's face, and Oprah has been out here for 35, 40 years, whatever, as long as it's been. But my point is, when we see Oprah Winfrey's face, we automatically know what's up. When Oprah Winfrey shows up, she doesn't have to do the types of things that we have to do today. But the reason I bring her up and people like her is that where we are located in our communities, we can actually show up like that if we do the right things. All right. You think about a doctor, right? There's a doctor and then there's a guy that can heal people, right? So I want you to move from being just another doctor to being the guy that actually has a unique power that the marketplace can't get enough of, that people will go out and be your evangelist for. I personally experienced this back in the first time I experienced this was, I think it was 2009. And the experience was this. I got on the LinkedIn at a time when a lot of people didn't understand LinkedIn marketing. They were doing it all wrong. They were taking Facebook techniques and putting them on LinkedIn. But I went on to LinkedIn and I sold out to a process on LinkedIn. I stripped everything else. I got off of YouTube. I got off of Facebook. I got off of everything. And I put everything I had into LinkedIn to figure out the LinkedIn platform. And I got so good at LinkedIn. In this particular time in my career, I was an affiliate marketer, and there was a leaderboard. And I started popping up on their leaderboard in multiple categories. And the founder, I came out the blue. And the founder contacted me and asked me what I was doing. And I said, I'm working LinkedIn. And then for about a year to 18 months, I was being called the king of LinkedIn. All right. So that was not a brand I was going for. That was not something I was marketing. I wasn't calling myself that. I had gotten so effective with LinkedIn marketing that anybody that I showed that to got the same result, and they couldn't help but tell other people about it. Does that make sense? So there's a depth of dedication to whatever it is that you're doing that causes you to rise above being a generalist. Because a lot of us are generalists. We're just one more name in this particular niche. Then you can climb to the level of specialist, where you're not a generalist, and you kind of honed in that, okay, I'm in, let's say, health and wellness, but that's general. But I'm in health and wellness to help people with a certain kind of blood type, right? Okay, now you're specializing. But an authority is somebody that others in that same niche say that you're the one that, if they have a certain situation, the other people in health and wellness say, no, you need to go see you shake around. So that's the authority. And then the superhuman authority comes by way of you being able to leverage technology so that people can see you in ways that they couldn't otherwise. So in other words, we have this old saying, I'm going to be in the right place at the right time. The magic to that is being everywhere all the time. That's how you're able to do that. And so this camera has an amazing power and influence on the way people view and see you. But not only this camera and how you show up, but also the places that you plant yourself that are authoritative, that you can actually bridge your own authority off of. This platform, for example, is an example of that. Me being here with Shay is an example of that. But in my own niche, there are blogs, there are podcasts, there are live events. There are things that I make a commitment to show up to, and I just stand out because I'm everywhere all the time. And the final point is I have a track record of success of people who have already been able to get the type of results that I'm talking about, which is commonly known as a testimonial. But my point is, in order for us to really have the ease of business or an easier way with business, if you can ascend to the level of superhuman authority, celebrity authority, and it takes time to do that, then your prices will be your prices. You can actually charge whatever you want to charge, and people won't have to negotiate. You'll develop a waiting list. There'll be people that just can't wait to do business with you. When you develop products and programs, I've actually had people do this, Shay, what I'm about to say, and that's they'll say, look, I know you don't do this, Larry, but if you were to ask me for my credit card number before you create a product, I would give it to you and you just run it. Whenever your product is ready, just run the card. But the only way that's possible is that I have to be authentic, I have to be credible, I have to have a proven track record of success, but I also have to develop a system and a plan that when I show up, people turn their head and go, is that really who I think it is right there? Because the moment I start talking about what it is that I do, those in the room that could benefit from it are going to want it because the buzz is here I am. I showed up. Does that make sense? And that everybody has that potential. It takes a combination of natural talent and some developed skills and technology. But to me, that's the goal. And that's why I moved away from just being a guy that's trying to sell my services. Today, as I told you before we even came on, I've got one client right now, one. And the reason I chose one is because I wanted him to be what I call the great pumpkin. I'm out here creating great pumpkins. And I got that from the book, The Pumpkin Plan. If you've never read that book, it's an amazing book to read. But the goal of the Pumpkin Plan, or how he talks about it, is, you got these award-winning people that have these 1,500-pound pumpkins. And the only way that's possible is they have to see the potential in the pumpkin early on. And when they see it, they put everything they got into that one pumpkin. Sure. And that's the whole idea behind superhuman authority is, can you be the great pumpkin in your niche? And that's what I tend to try to specialize and help people get.
Well, one of the things I admire about you, Larry, is that you walk the walk that you're talking right now. And there are a number of folks who are listening right now that are speakers or authors or coaches or trainers or network marketers, or they're in the field where being an expert can help really separate them from the competition. And while the competition is doing one thing, they need to separate themselves from that competition. And so I guess my question to you is, as you talked about LinkedIn and talked about how you became an expert, how does one become a master at what they do before they can distinguish themselves as number one in that area? And that's my first question, I guess.
So there's a, and I said it a little bit, is selling out at a level that others in your same niche won't. And so selling out in what you know about that particular subject matter. So as I said, I cut off everything else. Yeah, I could, people say you need to be in all of these different platforms. And I understand that that's true. But for where I was trying to go, I wanted to actually be one that people saw me and said that there's nobody that does it like him. But the only way that was possible for me to get there is that I had to completely dedicate myself to that one thing. At one time, I probably knew LinkedIn better than LinkedIn's technical people, because I was that committed to knowing it. And I find that a lot of us are just not that committed to going that hard. I was just listening to an interview. Kobe Bryant just passed away, all the stuff that's going on, talking about that. But the one thing that I kept hearing about him is his dedication to his craft, is the hours that he dedicated to mastering the different intricate parts of his game. And for me, I had to get very committed to developing that skill set in the intricate parts and pieces. Okay, so it really begins there, man. The other thing that I was willing to do is go a season and find people that I could help win, and either not charge them or charge them dramatically less than I normally would. Because as I said before, there's great power in having a cloud of testimonials. And a lot of us that are trying to do business well, we're not willing to do what I just said. But there's a third piece of that too that I did, and that is I intentionally went out and found people who already had authority. Okay, they already had, I like to call it a kingdom. There's a king and a queen, and they have a kingdom, right? They go out onto the balcony of the castle, and there's all the people, right? And they put their arm around me, and they say, listen to Larry Beecham. As soon as the king or queen says that, what do you think the people are going to do? They're going to listen, right? So I made it a point to go out and find people who already had a nice degree of success in the niche I wanted to play in, and I helped them get the maximum amount of success I could. So I got away from trying to serve every single person I could, and I said, I'm gonna go find me a Shay Brown. And I'm just using Shay because you're sitting here because you have great influence, but it's an example. Is that if Shay has a pain point and I can solve it, it's better for me to go serve a Shay, because Shay's reach and influence helps me because he is an authentic person, an authentic figure. So I would line up 2 or 3 of those as opposed to getting 40, 50 regular Joe people, and to help boost my own authority, right? I got to piggyback on that. So these are things that I teach, and these are things that I have done that have helped me to kind of stand out. So I don't rely on my funnels exclusively. I don't have to rely on ads. All of that stuff works, and I'm not knocking it. You know we need that stuff. What I am trying to say is that when you develop a certain degree of authority and a certain degree of celebrity, really, however you view that word, it makes life a lot easier. You know, I just don't know how to explain it. You get phone calls and text messages from people just begging you to do business with them. Like, can you fit me in? Will you take more than you normally would charge? And if you've never experienced that, the road to that is having that superhuman authority, that E.F. Hutton effect on people.
No, that makes that makes a lot of sense. And there's a number of folks out there they're listening right now. They may be thinking along the lines I'm thinking of. You gave us a great example, and I'm wondering how you would differentiate that from the person who's crossing over into a new field that has to do exactly what you just said, to the other person who's already there. It's like, well, I've been doing this. It's not about the years, but let's say I've been doing it for 5 years or 2 years, and I feel like I'm a master at it, but I just need to get to that next level. Are you so kind of how can I say this? Kind of go ahead and frame the conversation into 2 tiers. The person that's trying to get into a new field. So let's say I'm known as the sales guy, but I want to be known as the tech guy. So I'm getting into a new field, and that's one type of person. Or the person who might be known as, I'll just say me, because you used me earlier, as the sales guy, but now I got to differentiate myself from all the other sales guys. Is there a difference? Does it matter your level of expertise? Does it matter if you're just starting or you're trying to get to that next level? Maybe it doesn't matter. So my question to you is, does it matter if you're a newbie or a seasoned professional? And if it does, what's the differentiator?
I think it's easier if you're a newbie because you can start the quote unquote right way. You know, you can start off by deciding that from the beginning, I'm going to establish myself as the go-to person. And now the challenge for most people when I say that is, you may not make as much money on the front end. You know, if you're chasing money, I mean, you know, we all are in business and we all have to make money, but there's something to be said for slowing down and to making a decision that if it takes me longer to get the ultimate goal, then I'll figure it out along the way. So I think it's a little easier for a person who's really just getting started if they can stomach what I'm saying, right? But the principles are still the same. So the principles are, I'm going to find a way to add intrinsic value to my tangible value. So, and I know I didn't say that very clearly before, but let me explain what I mean. I once heard an example about a Toyota and a Lexus. All right, Toyota and Lexus is the same company, but the price between those two cars are very different. Even though the rubber on the wheels are the same, the wood grain interior is basically the same wood. But what is the difference between a Toyota's price and a Lexus's price? The difference is in the story that's being told and the intrinsic value that the story brings. Okay, so intrinsic value is the gap between the raw material and what other additional things you can put to it that actually are not as easily measurable in value. All right. Said another way, if I had a notebook, okay, just a plain old notebook, right? I bought a notebook for $5 from the store, from an office supply store, right? The paper is going to be worth a certain amount of money, okay, the raw material paper, right? But if I take that same book, and let's go back to Oprah, right? Let's say I see her somewhere and she signs the cover. Now, the only thing she signed was the cover. The other pages are completely blank. I might have paid $5 for it, but the time when Oprah put her signature on it, now what's the value? You follow me? That's the intrinsic value I'm talking about. So part of building intrinsic value for us can be adding additional credentials. It could actually have a more certain types of testimonials, certain types of recommendations that people will put on us. You know, it's that kind of stuff that helps us to kind of rise above the crowd. So I say it's the same whether you're new or whether you're experienced, but the goal is how can I separate myself in a way that people decide that above everybody else that's out here, that what I'm bringing to the table is very, very different. Are you willing to give away stuff that people would normally sell? Are you willing to add on extra stuff that people wouldn't? Okay. Are you willing to talk to your clients and actually find out from them what exactly that they want? It gets so customized to the small niche that you develop that every time you come out with something like the iPhone, which is another iconic example of what I'm talking about, when the iPhone is released, before it's released, there's a line at out the door for that product, right? So how can we as small business owners replicate a similar power? They've already modeled the examples, and a lot of it is the story that they tell. It's the positioning in the marketplace. It's the pre-frame by way of wherever they show up. It's the types of people that they put that product in their hand, and that person is saying this is the greatest thing. So the culmination of all of those things over time is how you can eventually rise to the point where you are the name in your niche. There's other people in the niche, and there's nothing wrong with that. But domination is the goal. I don't really want to compete. I want to dominate.
No, I love it. I don't want to compete. I want to dominate. When
Right.
we come back, I'm gonna ask if Larry Beecham will maybe share one of his biggest successes, one of his biggest successes doing this. He shared it a little earlier, but I'm going to ask him to break that down for us and talk about how do you bounce back when it doesn't work. Like, I know you're all thinking Larry's got it perfect, man. He had no problems. He had no challenges. The guy goes and learns LinkedIn, and then the guy goes over here and learns something different. Then he goes down to one client. His life is perfect. Maybe it is. I don't know. We come back. I'm going to ask Larry. I said, Larry, have you ever had a business challenge where it didn't work out? And then how did you bounce back from that, man? How were you able to turn that around and then still be the number one authority of what you're doing now? And I'll be curious to know myself. I don't know. But when we come back in less than 2 minutes, maybe if he doesn't want to answer this, he doesn't have to. But we're going to ask him the question. So he knows it's coming already. And he'll let us know if he wants to be authentic and share it or not, if that's something he wants to hold to himself. But I know we're all curious. I'm curious, too. How does he bounce back from setbacks? All right. With that being said, we're going to go over to Saucony Prince. Saucony Prince is down there in Mobile, Alabama. And Saucony Prince says something very important. He says, have you taken a moment to reflect? Just to pause and reflect. And what better time to do that than right now? So we'll be back in just a moment with none other than Larry Beecham. He's sharing with us how you can build superhuman authority to become the number one name in your niche. I can't wait till he breaks it down for us. We'll be back in just a moment. Take it away, Saucony.
Have you ever just taken a moment to reflect? Hi, this is Saucony Prince of SauconyPrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe to give you my thought of the week. And my thought of the week this week is, have you ever taken a moment to just reflect? You know, oftentimes I come in here to the Cooper Riverside Park on my lunch, and I'll take a minute to just kind of soak in everything and clear my mind, and actually spend a minute just reflecting, not only about where I am, but then I also do some vision about where I want to be. And I know as an entrepreneur, it's helpful for us to take a minute and step back and just get a minute to clear our mind so that we're in a better place in order to move forward. You know, oftentimes we're so hurried to try to get something done that we overlook so many things to where if we just step back for a minute and reflect, we'll find ourselves seeing solutions that were right in front of us. But sometimes we're too close to the problem to see the solution that we need. So every now and then, what I suggest that you do, and I definitely do it myself, is just take a minute to reflect on where you are and how you got here, but then also look for solutions on where you're going. Hey, look, this is Saucony Prince of SauconyPrince.com, where we make motivation personal. We're introducing you to yourself. And I'm in the Happy Entrepreneurs Tribe to give you my thought of the week. And my thought of the week this week is make moments or make times to reflect. Hey, look, back over to you, Shay.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome back to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the entrepreneur, you, the person that gets up every single day to change the world, with the resources you need necessary for you to execute that vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And gosh, it has to feel good knowing that you're getting the resources you need right now to be the #1 name in your niche. And imagine what that's going to do for your bank account. Imagine what that's going to do for you reaching your target audience. Imagine what that's going to do for your marketing. But more importantly, imagine what it's going to do for the people who right now, they're looking for you. I believe there are folks out there that have a problem, they have a want, need, or desire, and they have a goal of finding you right now. And you're going to make it easy for them. So with that being said, Larry, before the break, I asked the question, and you can answer it or not answer it. The question was, was there a time in your business where there was a setback, there was a challenge, things didn't go the way you wanted them to? What was the challenge? And more importantly, what was the lesson that you learned that you can share with us that have tried to do some things and it just didn't work out, man? We just failed. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, you actually asked me 2 questions, so I'll start with that one. Nobody, and I mean nobody, that is endeavoring to be highly successful does it without setbacks, losses, failures, tragedy, disaster. I've been through it. So to kind of really seriously answer it at a level that is very transparent and vulnerable, and this is kind of my style. When my wife and I moved to Tampa, Florida, it was on the heels of everything I'm talking about happening for me. I was going to events, and I remember standing at the doorway of an event, getting ready to get started. I introduced myself to one guy, and as soon as I said my name, people were like, Larry Beecham, whatever. But this is when I first got started. Won awards and all that stuff. And so then things started to change in business, and everything happened so fast for me that I wasn't really aware of the fact that things changes, because I was a cable guy. Remember, I said I was a cable guy, and I had a 2-year period where I sold out to what I needed to know, and I dedicated myself completely to it, and I had an explosion of success. But then I still needed to go through a learning curve to appreciate that things change. Technology changes, needs change, the market changes. There's a lot of things that change. And it was so good for me at one time, I never even thought that it would change, but it did change. And when it changed, I lost almost everything that I had gained. I remember living in the hood in Ohio, and then we came to Florida, and I lived in the gated community and all of that stuff. And even though we were there, it felt like I was back in the hood in Ohio, living on whatever. But, so I went from 2015 to about 2017. I had probably a lightweight depression. I just had a hard time getting out of bed. I had a hard time understanding why things weren't working. Then I started pimping myself out, is what I used to call it. You know what I mean? If I could just say it that way. What I mean is, when things get really tough, you compromise things that you wouldn't normally do. I was taking on people I should have never taken on. I was, charging ridiculously low stuff, and it was just bad. I was broken, I was confused, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. And so I literally almost lost everything when that happened. Man, it was so bad that hair was falling out. The man was struggling. Yeah. Well, I kept a little bit, bro.
First, I'm shaved. I'm not bald. I'm shaved. I choose to do this. Okay, I just messing with you.
But and I was in a bit of isolation because I didn't really think I had anybody to talk to. I'm working from home. I'm not in a community of. It's not like a job. You go into an office and you have a bunch of people trying to fight for the same vision or whatever. At home, it's just you, and you don't really know that there's a lot more entrepreneurs that are going through the same thing. We're just not talking to each other. We're too busy presenting, as you just said, the bright side of things. But there's a lot of storms to this. There's actually more storms than bright side. It really is real talk. So yeah, I lost almost everything a couple of times. So had to go get a job. I remember one time, and from the world I come from, at the time, the whole thing was, get off your job, be free, blah, blah, all that. And I had achieved that. But then I got to the point where I needed to go get a job. And I remember the day I jumped online, and I felt like my audience needed to hear me tell them that I was going to get a job and why I was going to get a job. And I was so afraid to do that because of the persona. But when I got honest and real and said I made some mistakes, I got to feed my family. I'll get back on top, but right now I need to go get a predictable income. I need to go get a job. Mm-hmm. And man, I'm telling you, I had wives calling me, texting me, crying that their husbands heard me say that, and finally they decided to go out and get a job because they heard me say it. Mm-hmm. So I learned a lesson about the other side of authority. Is that yes, on one side of authority there is the power to do business, but the other side of authority is a responsibility to the people that do follow me. And sometimes people take too literally the tactics. So I teach principles, right? Principles are universal, but then Shay or whoever is listening has to figure out the proper tactic to deploy in their situation. And so in my case, the tactic for me to recover was to go get a job. It wasn't to fight through it like you hear a lot of entrepreneurs talking. Oh, you just need to keep fighting, keep fighting, keep fighting. But man, I got 6 kids. You know what I'm saying? They need dental stuff. They need vision. They need, shoes, clothes, and the ebb and flow of entrepreneurship, man, will bust you up if you're not careful. But I had my particular road was I needed to do that, right? So I needed to share with my audience because I wanted to be honest. I'm not the Instagram angles guy. I've never done that. I've never ever gave an angle. And if I could use Delatorre one more time, and I love that guy. He said something to me one time that really got my attention to the point where I'm sharing it now, probably 6-7 years later. And he said, never say anything in your summer that you can't live out in your winter. That's his exact quote. In other words, when things are going good, be mindful of the fact that it could turn at any time. So find a way to be authentic and genuine no matter what's going on. Present in a way that is universally acceptable. And just be careful because your reputation could be damaged irreparably if you're not careful. So anyway, man, hopefully that answers your question. But the truth is there isn't anybody that's doing business at a high level or having success at any endeavor in life that doesn't have a major failure somewhere. How else can you get to the pinnacles of success if you don't go through the door of failure? There's no way to get there.
No, I appreciate you being authentic. I appreciate you sharing the other side and being open with our community and sharing real talk. There are a number of folks out there watching, like Sanaya, who's out there right now. Rixie Thompson is listening right now. Marie Thorpe is out there. Fitzgerald Mason, and so many folks out there. Rikisha right now that are listening, like, wow, the guy's a real guy. And that's one of the reasons why what he's sharing with you works, because he's seen it on both sides. And some folks don't want to share that. I don't be funny in there and say, hey, Shay, I don't share those stories. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. But the person you're seeing now, Larry, this is the way he is today. It's the way he was yesterday, and it's the way he'll be tomorrow. He'll only get better. If you can, Larry, take a minute and speak directly, if you would, and share a lesson that you learned from one of your mentors along this journey that has helped you, that you would want to share with the audience as well, that can help them along this journey of life.
Well, first of all, mentor. You got to have one. A lot of us don't have mentors. I don't know what that's about. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that have heard that over and over and over again and just haven't really stepped up to find someone that can see them in ways that nobody else can. You need to be very vulnerable and very transparent to somebody so that they can give you the truth of what it takes to evolve. One of the biggest lessons that I got from my mentor is to simply do what they tell you to do. I know that seems overly simplified, but one of the ways that I gained the respect of my mentor, I remember one time he had told me early on in my career, because I didn't have any money, I was a broke cable guy, and he said, you need to find a way to generate leads and brand yourself, etc. But you don't have a money budget. I had 3 overdrawn bank accounts at one time. 3. Okay. I was running from utility companies, lying to them to get utilities cut back on. So at the time when I entered this world, I didn't really have a lot of material support. I mean, I had lack of resources, but I was very resourceful. So anyway, he told me, you need to go and be the king of free marketing. So he said, I need you to do a video a day and I need you to write an article a day, neither of which I had ever done in my life, neither one. And he didn't set aside any time to teach me. He just said, you need to go figure that out. And that's exactly what I did. So I went and I watched, I don't know how many YouTube videos, I don't know how many people's articles I read, blogs I went to. And I just hours and hours and hours of consuming content. And then I just went out and did the best I could at the time. And we were laughing about ourselves before we got on about how we looked at the time. Right. But he has the greatest respect that I can give any mentors is simply do what they tell me to do. Is to figure out how I can actually continue to earn their respect over and over, because they're a gateway, a doorway, a bridge to where I want to go. Okay. And that was kind of the biggest thing for me, because up until that point, I had never had a mentor before. Didn't know what that was even like to follow another man in that way. My dad was not like a mentor. Mm-hmm. He's my dad. But, when it comes to certain things, he couldn't have never helped me. But that's what he said. He said, Larry, if you want my help, you're going to have to do what I tell you to do. He said, and mentors I'm not paying him, right? He's pouring his knowledge, his wisdom, his expertise, his victories over his failures into me. And I'm ignorant. I don't know anything, right? So the smartest thing that I could actually do is listen. And he said it to me as both education and a warning. And I took it as such. And when he told me what I was telling you a second ago, he would call me and I wouldn't answer, because I wanted to do what he told me to do before I got back on the phone with him. So I had a progress report that he could respect. Even if the result was awful, I could at least say, I did what you told me to do. What's next?
Man, powerful. I really respect it. A couple of things. One, I want to get you to have closing comments, man. I appreciate you. You're in triple overtime now. There's something called overtime. There's something called double overtime. And there's something called triple overtime. But Larry, he's hung in there. He's giving you the best that he has. He's right here, right now. Larry, I want you to tell them, how can they connect with you? For those that are watching, that are listening right now, what's the best platform? You mentioned LinkedIn, you mentioned Facebook, you mentioned different social media platforms. What's the best way for someone who says, you know what, I want to be a part of this guy's community. I want to follow him. I just want to know what the heck he's doing. Where should they connect with you?
Facebook is the best place. Is my business page on Facebook, Larry the Champion Builder. I pretty much start there with everybody. I've learned that I want to build a connection and a relationship. So I'm a certified digital marketer, and I can sit here and talk about sales funnels and all that. But personally, when I think about building authority, the first thing that I work to do is build a relationship first. I don't need you to run straight to my capture page. I can give everybody. I personally would rather build a relationship. I want you to kind of get into I heard somebody call it what do they call it? The ecosystem or some word.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I want you to get in there. And if you're listening to me, if the sound of my voice and the way I'm talking and the stuff I'm talking about resonates, it'll be a natural fit for you to want to do whatever next steps I'm talking about. And to be honest, that's the position I take from building authority. I don't want a person to not really feel me before they want to do business with me. So I may do business with a lot fewer people, but those that I do business with really want me as the guy to lead them to their next level. That's just my current day of doing business. Sure. Okay. So Facebook is a good place to start. I do tons of trainings, tons of videos. Most of the stuff I do is kind of transformative in the way I communicate. I think that I have discovered in coaching that most people come to me for the technical stuff, the know-how, the how-tos. But the real problem is none of that stuff, because most of the time there's some broken part of who they are as a person. That's the real problem that we got to deal with. So anyway, Facebook business page, Larry the Champion Builder, is where you can connect with me. And also, you had mentioned to me about a place they can go. Really, for me, if a person wants to talk to me, just go there, send me a message. Let's chat. Let's set up a time to talk. I'm pretty easygoing. If it makes sense for us to figure something out, we will. But start on Facebook. I think that's a great place to begin.
Larry, the Champion Builder. Before we give you a chance to give your closing comments, why Larry, the champion builder. How'd you come up with the tagline, the champion builder? I'm just curious what it means, what it represents. I mean, can you take just a minute? Again, I know you're in triple overtime, my man, but I'm just curious about this. What does Larry, the champion builder, what does that brand represent? And who does that brand speak to?
I was in an event one time speaking, right? And I don't remember the message. I really don't. But I took a chance because I was there. I took a chance I could because they let me. I took a chance and I wanted to just deliver a message that I felt could just really reach people at their core. And as I said, I mentioned in the beginning, the path of your purpose has already been paved with provision, protection, prosperity, and peace. That's my thing. So I said, I want to really find a way to help tap into that champion on the inside of people. And I want to start to talk and speak and coach and train and interact in that way. And so I was sitting on my bed one day and it just hit my heart that I'm the guy that provides the opportunity for people to transform into the best version of themselves. And so Larry, the champion builder, is kind of what came to my heart, So I'm on a mission to find people who have the potential to be great. They just don't really know how. They're willing to do the work and they're willing to let me push them. And that's kind of how that birthed. I mean, there's no real magic to it. I just, it stands out as there's Larry Beecham. That's the father, the husband, and all that. Then there's Larry, the champion builder, the guy that's walking through the marketplace looking for the next champion that I can partner with. So that's kind of the origin of that.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, here's what I'd like for you to do, man. One, connect with Larry. Go to facebook.com, type in Larry Beecham the champion builder. That'll take you right to his business page. You can connect with him right there on his business page. He even offered to say, send him a personal message. So send him a note and see if he answers. He said he would answer. I didn't say that. He said that. He said, send him a note. So send him a note. Say, hey, I was on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. I've got a question. I want to chat. And he's made himself available. He says he'll do it. And that's pretty special. I mean, one of the things that I know is that every one of you listening right now, every one of you, I know from the bottom of my heart, you all can make more money. I have no doubt in my mind. The right system, the right strategy, the right tools, you'll make the money. But the one thing that I do know with 100% certain that you cannot do, that none of us can do, including myself, is you can't make more time. Right. And so Larry has agreed that he'll give you some of his time. That's time he can't get back. He's given time this evening, tonight, whatever time you're watching, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay, we appreciate you. Or you're listening to the podcast or you're on Apple TV, you're here. And the fact that you're here says so much. So Larry is here and he's even given more of his time and said he'd do it one-on-one. And I would suggest you do that because some of you need to customize where you are. Some of you have personal questions that you're like, look, this is my situation. And you just want to ask him what he thinks about it. And the guy's saying, let's chat. And so I'm encourage you to do that. Again, go to facebook.com, type in Larry Beecham the champion builder right there in the browser. There's a little browser right there with Facebook. You can just type it in and his business page will pop up and he'll communicate with you directly there. He will respond. He didn't say his assistant. He didn't say it was some robot. He didn't say it was some software. I didn't hear that. He said, I will respond. So, send him a note and let the guy respond to you and have that conversation. Larry, what I'd like for you to do, if you can, is I want you to take a few minutes and give your closing comments. I want you to share your thoughts, maybe any ideas you have or suggestions for those folks to encourage or to empower them to do what they're doing. Or maybe it's just your thoughts on where you see the industry. I mean, where you see things going. But I want to give you a couple of minutes to be able to do that. Let me first say thank you so much for doing a number of things. One, thank you for just agreeing to be here. Larry didn't ask me for a Cash App payment before we got started. He didn't ask me for a Zelle payment. No PayPal needed. He just said, Shay, I'll be there. That's what he said. Some people say, hey, Shay, what's the payment amount? Can I send you swipe a credit card and they'll be there? But he said, nah, man, I'm there. And so I appreciate that. And then he spent some time fighting through a very difficult situation. I mean, sometimes technology can stress folks out, and he held in there and he's willing to get on the line with someone and say, hey, walk me through some things that I may not see. And that takes a very special person to be able to do that. And then he departed his best knowledge and information with you this evening. So Larry, thank you so much, man. You're certainly you have a heart to give. You have a heart to serve, and you're someone that's out there making a difference in the world for those folks that need you not only for themselves, but for the people they were called to serve. So let me say thanks. We will have you back on the Happy Entrepreneurs Show. Thank you for giving us great sound, man. When the sound got going, man, you was ready to rock and roll and you was on fire. You didn't have 1,000 excuses. You said, let's go. And he could have said, hey, Shay, the time is up. But he held in there and he given us way more than I anticipated. So thanks from the bottom of my heart, man. We appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. I want to encourage you that. And I turn over to you, man, to give your final thoughts and comments as we close out. For all of you out there like Saharn, who's been taking notes for so long, Linda Reese, she's still there. Linda said, thank you, Larry, for sharing your experience. Great job. She was there in the very beginning. And she's there to close us out. She said, Shay, I want to hear this message. And she said, Larry, you delivered. So for coming from Linda Reese, I don't know if you know Linda Reese, but if you don't, coming from her, those some pretty powerful words. She's no delator. She's in that category. William Byers is here, Ann Brown, and so many other folks that are watching. I can't mention all the names, but they're making comments in the notes below. So Larry, my man, your final thoughts and comments. Again, thanks a lot, man. We appreciate you.
Well, first of all, again, to all of you that hung in there, through the technical challenge, I'm grateful for you being here. For all listening, wherever you're listening from, this has been an honor and a privilege to serve tonight. Shay, once again, thank you for offering me this opportunity. I count it a joy to be, to hear from you and to have this opportunity, to be entrusted with your people to share a message. So, as I'm thinking about it, man, I'm just going to go and follow my gut. I'm going to go in a direction that may not even seem like it's relevant, but I believe it'll help somebody. So first of all, let me plant a 30-second seed about this thing of authority to close that piece out. And that, when you look at the word authority, the first 6 letters is author. Now, this isn't something I came up with. I've heard it said many times. So one of the things that all of us could really do to begin building authority is to author something. Believe it or not, a book right now could turn your business around. I remember getting a speaking engagement just because I had a book. Okay, just because the person didn't even read it. The fact that I had a physical book somehow made me that much more valuable than the next person who may have had equitable credentials. So think about the power of authoring something that now positions you differently than everybody else. It's a discipline that you can do. A page a day for the next 60 days will change your life. And that's not a full book. I'm just saying, think about it. But here's where I want to go. And this comes from me coaching about 175, 200 people in the last 5 years, varying different degrees of income, backgrounds, etc. And I want to tell you a story. And then this story is going to be the point, and I'll be done. When my oldest daughter, Taylor, was about 6 or 7 years old, we lived in a house that was like 950 square feet. It had a floor. The wood wasn't that finished well. And because the floor wasn't well finished, she ended up getting a splinter in her knee. Okay, and the splinter was about 1 inch long, and it was deep in her knee. Freaked my wife out, right? So my wife wants me to go get this splinter, right? So my daughter says to me, Daddy, is this going to hurt? Now, obviously, I want to tell my daughter whatever I want to tell her. But here's what I did. I told my daughter, I said, Taylor, it hurt going in. It's going to hurt coming out. And it's going to hurt even after it's out. But each day, it'll get a little better, and it'll get a little better, and one day you'll never notice the pain anymore. But if I don't go in there right now and get it, it's going to be more problems than you want. Now, she's 5 or 6 or whatever. She don't quite get it all. All she heard was it's going to hurt. So then the battle begins. I go in after this splinter. I'm trying to get to it. She's jumping around. She's crying. She's trying to run. I get a piece of it out, then a piece is left in there. Now I got to go in deeper to get it. I mean, it was a battle, and it was very painful to just see my daughter go through that. So I finally got this daggone splinter out, and she says, Daddy, it's still hurting, it's still hurting. I said, like I told you, it hurt going in, it's going to hurt coming out, and it's going to continue to hurt, but each day is going to get a little better and a little better and a little better. Had I not gone in there and gotten it out, it could cause more pain and problems. And so the reason I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, is as I have coached people over the last 5 years that come to me for all of these technical things, all this know-how, all these how-tos, what I've come to realize is that somebody or something put some splinters in their heart. And they think that by adding another skill, going into another event, getting another course, that somehow that was going to overcompensate for the pain that they've experienced. They have splinters in their heart from their mother, their father, their employer, kids that pushed them down in the neighborhood, laughed at them. And now they're full-grown adults, and they don't realize that some of these splinters, big, small ones, big ones, small ones, are all over the place inside of it. And I'm saying that the point I'm trying to make is this. it's probably in your way. And that's probably the reason why you don't believe that you're worthy of the success, because somebody put a splinter in your heart saying that you're not worthy. It's the reason why you won't make that difficult phone call. It's the reason why people have seen you potentially damage your reputation, because you're not delivering the way you need to, because you've been splintered. And I'm saying to you, it's worth it for you to go and figure out how to get these splinters out of your heart. If it means you go get a mentor and you tell your mentor one of your deepest, darkest secrets so they can guide you out, then you probably need to do it. If you need therapy, get therapy. If you need to write a letter of apology to somebody who you haven't, that may be the thing. If you have to go stand over the gravesite of a family member and say, I forgive you, that may pull the splinter out. But I'm telling you, I've coached so many people that have so many issues that have nothing at all to do with their business, that it's the reason and it's the season right now to figure that stuff out. One final thing, I have a guy who did this with his dad. He was estranged from his father. He had a 14-year-old son. And he decided that he was going to go and have a conversation with his dad and start a healing process. He says when he did that, without realizing it, it activated inside of him the healing he needed. And today he has an 8-figure business. And up until that point, he was struggling. And I'm saying to you right now, is that what is in your future? If you'll go ahead and go pull that splinter out. So that's my encouragement, that you'll find a way to heal. With that being said, Shay, thank you once again, my brother. It's been an honor and privilege, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for attending. You've been listening to none other than Larry Beecham, my man himself, who's hung in there with you. I want you to know as we close out that you're a champion, that you're a winner, that every single one of you, you have greatness inside you. And I know that the best is yet to come, because today is your January 1st. You can be the #1 authority in your niche. Today is your January 1st. You're back on track again, and
yes,
the best is yet to come. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. And I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, the best is still yet to come, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless, and we wish you much success. Today is your January 1st. Thanks a lot, Larry. We appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you. God bless.